everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review, and today's review is in association with MarvelousNews.com, your #1 news source for everything Marvel. And for today's review, we're going to be taking a look at the upcoming Marvel Legends 6-inch Captain America Cottonmouth figure, which is part of the Red Skull Build-A-Figure wave. Actually, it's the Red Onslaught figure, but they list it here on the packaging as just Red Skull. So this figure comes packaged in the same style packaging we're seeing with the new Marvel Legends of 2016. We've got the Build-A-Figure Red Skull logo up at the very top. Then we have the Legends series logo. The box for this series is black with blue highlights. The figure's clearly displayed in the window box packaging. And then down below we have the Captain America logo. Now this figure is listed as Forces of Evil. It shares the same packaging with Whirlwind. So on one side we have some artwork for Cottonmouth, and then on the other side we have some artwork for Whirlwind. And then on the back of the packaging we have a look at both figures and a brief bio in multiple languages. And then down below it shows us all the figures in the wave that you need to get in order to complete that Red Onslaught figure. Okay, so let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. So here's a look at the figure outside the packaging. Now before you ask, and even as I say this, I know at least one of you will probably ask in the comment section, but this wave is not yet out. I purchased these from an overseas buyer. I want to get them a little bit early so I could give you guys a review of them. I don't have a specific release date on them yet. I would guess sometime by, maybe by the end of this month, early next month, but since, as far as I know of, no e-tailers started taking pre-orders for them, that's purely just a guess on my part. I don't have an actual release date yet, but I'm guessing within the month. So anyway, this figure only comes with one accessory, and that's the Build-A-Figure piece for the Onslaught figure. So we've got the right arm for Onslaught with this one. Now, after I look at the entire wave, we'll do a review of the Onslaught figure at the end, so be sure to check back for that. So for the figure itself, this figure basically shares that Hyperion mold, the upper torso and the legs. The hands are actually from the Venom figure that we looked at with that new Spider-Man wave last week. So he shares the same hands as Venom. And then for the feet, it's the same as Gladiator, the Gladiator figure. So the head is basically, as far as I can tell, the only new part on the figure. Now, this is if you're not familiar with this character, he is Cottonmouth is a member of the Serpent Society, which is a fairly large group, and this is really the first official member of the team that we've gotten. Characters like Constrictor are loosely associated with the group, and Madam Viper, I think, also is associated with the group to some extent, though I don't really consider them actual members of the Serpent Society. So I don't know if Hasbro is going to get around to releasing all the members. Again, there's quite a few of them. I hope we see maybe one like, Copperhead is one I would like to see. Now, the sculpting on the figure I think is pretty good. The Hyperion mold I think works pretty well for the character. Paint apps are simple, but they're decent. No serious paint blemishes on my figure. So you've got, for most of the costume, you've got the purple, and then you've got some yellow, but it's clean. I don't notice any real bleeding on the yellow. Maybe a little bit down here around his leg. You see a little purple maybe, but it's not too bad. I've certainly seen worse on previous figures that use a lot of yellow on it. I also have a little bit of yellow bleeding on the purple here near the wrist, and you can see the peg for the joint. They didn't quite fully paint the inside of the peg, so you've got some yellow showing there. You've got the yellow eyes on his chest, and the white for the mouth of the snake is what it's supposed to look like. And I like the sculpting on the mask. He's got this cobra head that he wears for a mask and everything. So I think the face looks good on this figure. And I like the texturing and everything on the mask. Now, I will say that there's nothing that really incorporates his powers, which basically he opens up his mouth really wide to swallow people kind of type deal. And so there's nothing on this figure that kind of mimics his power, which is kind of unfortunate. It would have been cool if we'd gotten an alternate head or something with the open mouth. I think would have been really nice. Now, because it's the Hyperion mold, we do have the 2 holes on the back, which are not needed for this figure. So the figure stands pretty tall. He's just a little bit under 7 inches tall, and he is a pretty big character in the comics, so I think the mold again fits pretty nicely for the character. He is next to the Hyperion figure and the Venom figure, and he's about the same height as Hyperion. Venom has a little bit of height on the other two. Articulation is pretty much the same as the other figures that share this mold, but we'll go over it real quick. Head's on a ball hinge joint, so he can look left and he can look right, and he's got some down movement, not a whole lot, but some, and he can look back pretty far. He's got ball hinge joints at the shoulder, so he can get his arm out good, and he's got good rotation there. He's got the bicep swivel. He's got a double hinged elbow, so he can bend his arm pretty good. And then he's got the swivel at the wrist, and he's got the hinges on the hand, so he's got good up and down movement with the hands. He's got an ab crunch joint, so he can crunch down good, and he can look back pretty far as well. He's also got the waist swivel. Legs are attached with ball joints, so he can do the splits about that much. He can get his leg forward good, and he can do his leg back only about that much. He's got a thigh swivel. He's got a double jointed knee, so good bending at the knee. He's got the boot cuff swivel, and then he's got the hinges on the feet, so good up and down movement, and he's got ankle pivot and 2 peg holes on the bottom of his feet. Okay, so that's my review. Overall, I think this is a decent figure. I can't say I'm super excited about the character in general. If we get more members of the Serpent Society, then this one will definitely be a nice one for the collection. But if we don't, then this one to me is kind of a waste. I do like the size of the figure, and I'm not bothered that it reuses the Hyperion mold. I would have liked to have seen something like an alternate head, since they didn't include any real accessories other than the Build-A-Figure piece. I would have liked to have seen something like an alternate head that mimics his powers. That would have been nice. But otherwise, I think this is a pretty decent figure, and if you're a fan of the Serpent Society, then I think you'll definitely want to add this one to your collection. So again, I don't have a release date on this wave yet, but I'm expecting them to probably see release sometime maybe at the end of this month or early next month. We'll have a full gallery of images up at marvelousnews.com. There's a link in the description below. And as always, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And until next time, I'll catch you later.